So,
yeah.
I'm Mikisa of RIOT. And what is RIOT?
Revolutionary International Organization de Trabajdores, representing for Black, Indigenous, colonized individuals, resisting capitalism and colonialism, here and, wherever we may be.
Yeah. And definitely representing the Caribbean. Massive. Big up Labor Day coming up soon for the Independence Day that's upon us. And the Labor Day that we are supposed to be celebrating in this capitalistic society, no matter where we live, whether it's in the Caribbean diaspora or the South, right? We're all one, and we should have, similar goals as far as where we would like to be, and that is total liberation. There's nothing wrong with that, right? And we deserve that.
Yeah. But just to talk about, kind of I don't know, can't even say, microaggressions. I guess, one of the racist aggressions that we've, experienced here in North Carolina recently is, or most recently, is, that video that we had posted in the Ross store a couple of days ago, just regular shopping, putting stuff in a cart, and this motherfucker comes out the back. Justin
two people
comes out the back talking about the stuff in the cart.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, we shopping here just like anybody else, and then is gonna accuse us of starting a scene. Motherfucker, no, you came out from back wherever you was at, right? Probably looking on the cameras in the back.
No, definitely, because it was two people that
exactly
came out.
Wondering why we got so much stuff
in
the cart.
As if that's suspicious behavior in a shopping center. What's suspicious about putting items in your cart?
It's called shopping.
Now, if I was putting them in my shorts or, in my pocketbook, come see me about that. But I'm putting them in a shopping cart to make a purchase, and you still come to harass me while I'm shopping and then threaten to call the police on us.
And that kind of reminded me, after that happened, there was a situation where I saw, I don't even know what it was, maybe the Shade Room or something. This guy was, in a gas station, whatever, a black man, in a gas station, and police come in, 3 police officers surround him, hands on guns, talking about, yeah, we got called because, you got a bunch of credit cards, and, somebody feel like that's suspicious.
Oh. But what came out later is that he was already at the ATM. As if any of it is better or worse, because he was at the ATM about to withdraw money from the ATM with one of his many cards, trying to be a responsible black man and having decent credit. And he's in the store making a withdrawal from an ATM, rightfully so, with one of his credit cards, and he's approached by men with guns and not even riot gear, war gear, because they had on uniforms that were very similar to people who fought in Afghanistan, from what I've seen. So they were some type of military police.
Facts.
And it was a gas station, but nonetheless, you're approached as a person in a public space. Right.
It's just funny because it goes to show you, in any situation, the police, it's just how white people, how colonizers know that they can call on the police, and the police will always be on their side.
Right.
Or, or that they know that even if not even to stop a crime, but to just put you in your place, basically, right? Mm-hmm. Why does this black man have all access to all this, right? Mm-hmm. Or being in the store, why do
he has to be scamming,
right? Or why do these black people have all these stuff? Are they definitely gonna steal, or they gonna try to scam us? Let
me be some sort of pre-crime unit now, right? Because that's what it. Pre-crime. It was Dad. What is the name? It was a Tom Cruise movie. Crime Report? No.
Minority Report.
Minority
Report.
Of course, Minority Report. Yeah. So, hey guys, for just, you're just joining. I'm Mikisa of RIOT, and this
Takiyah.
is Takiyah of RIOT, based out of North Carolina. Go the Confederates. For those who don't know, this has just been the 3rd anniversary of the statue that came down on August 14, 2017. I was seeing if you were paying attention.
For real.
So, anywho, so it's the 3-year anniversary that the Confederate statue came down. That was at the old courthouse in Durham, North Carolina. Takiyah Thompson, right here. You can watch it on the IG stories. Shortly after that, there was a movie made on her part or role that, they played in the removal of that Confederate statue.
A movie?
Yeah.
Nah, it was a show episode.
Yeah.
What was it though?
Still,
I don't remember.
It's a movie.
There's a
You
TV
can watch
episode.
it on IGTV.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, the movie that the documentary.
The documentary.
Okay. Yeah, no, but at the same time that this happened, there was like a TV show out, and people were hitting me up to tell me about it, and I never fucking
yes, I saw that one.
What
But that wasn't one with you in it. That's not the one.
It was like a reenactment.
Yes, there was a reenactment very shortly after the statue came down.
Yeah.
And I was very offended when I saw the reenactment.
I never seen it.
Because what show was it on? It was on a major TV show that Shonda Rhimes wrote. Yes, so it was supposed to be like a black perspective type show, but it was like on ABC. So of course, the person who climbed up that ladder was a white dude. Like,
oh snap, that's so crazy.
Yeah, so it was a white dude that climbed up the ladder that had on like a button-down shirt, and he was like the everyday man, and he climbed up and put the rope around the ladder, and it was drugged down. It was crazy.
Which is funny because I remember that being like a huge outrage. Everybody was hitting me up to tell me about that, and I never seen it.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I never seen it.
I don't think that show was on anymore.
Whatever it was.
So, yeah, we were just talking about the current events and the state of what's going on, and that, revolutionaries and black revolutionaries, we don't just fall from the sky. We're created somewhere, right? And the things that get you to this point are not the things that happen to you after you're an activist. It's the things that happen to you before, right? That make you finally get to that point where you say, you know what, I want to go ahead and actually do something about this, right? So it just seems as if all these things are just happening to this one woman, but no matter what and no matter where I go, I'm always going to show up as a black woman, right? And automatically, when you show up as a black woman in this world, you're going to be discredited and discounted no matter what, right? Because you don't even have the authority or say so over your own existence, much less your own thought or your own body. Like when you go to the doctor, you're supposed to trust them with certain things, but we find out that every system that America has made and capitalized off of is off of the backs of us, right? Or people that look like us, right? So, things like, let me see. I remember back in about 2003, 2004, we had a house in Marietta, Georgia, right? We lived in Marietta, Georgia, nice neighborhood, and we had neighbors. They knew that we lived there, but we were, traveling back and forth. So one time I came back to my house, and the police were called by the neighbors who lived next to us for some time, so definitely know our vehicles and know who we are, and still called the police on us because they felt they had a right to. So the police came out, and handcuffed me and put me in the back of my car as my then 8-year-old, 2 and 3-year-old were inside of the house so that they can make sure and verify that I was supposed to be there, right? And they left my children by themselves while they checked me out. And if I had done that at their ages, I would have had charges against me for leaving endangering my children. But you took me out of my house because you got a call and you had to verify first, not the caller, right? But the person who is inside the home. So this thing of anti-blackness and misogynoir is nothing new, right? I just have the voice to say how I feel about it now and be more vocal about it. But I've been talking about these things forever.
That's a fact.
You know?
Just because you ain't hear about it before.
Just because, yeah.
Years and years ago. Doesn't mean it didn't happen before. Right.
Yeah, everything is just exasperated now because of things like...
Yeah, because you could easily access, these incidences, but in the past it wasn't like that,
But you have to stay reading and studying, right? Because if you don't know where you came from or what these things come from, you can't know where you're going to go. So one book that helped me out a lot to understand these things and these phenomena is a book called Still Black, Still Strong. And this was written by survivors of the war against black revolutionaries. And that goes for everybody that wakes up black on a regular basis. You are a revolutionary. Your survival in your life and your living is revolutionary.
Well, I don't know if I would say that.
Well,
I don't know if I would say that.
Listen, with all of these strikes against us, right? Your living is revolutionary. Now, if you're living dead or
because you
asleep,
could live,
that's
you
another
could live
story.
in service of the man.
Yeah, so, that's another story. But you survived some shit to get to this point.
But to say just life alone is revolutionary. I can't agree.
To some extent, not all the way.
I mean, a life worth living is revolutionary.
Different. We have to get to that point. We're getting there.
A life serving the man is not a life worth living. Exactly. A life serving the man is not revolutionary, and it will never be.
That is what we are going to talk about, and I'm glad you went there. But that's the next book that we're reading, right? Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, the next book that we're reading.
Yes, what she says. Yeah.
Black Skin, White Mask, Frantz Fanon.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Okay, so Frantz Fanon is from Martinique. That's an island in the Caribbean. And he was also a student and philosopher, a doctor of psychology. And he termed it a mental illness, right? To be black, however, carrying out the master's plan, which was termed black skin, white mask?
Yeah.
Right. So you have the black skin, however, your agenda is everything white supremacy. So you will go against yourself anytime you do things like that. So that's a very colonial and colonized way of thinking, because you're not seeing yourself separate from a thing, and you're seeing yourself a part of a thing. Meanwhile, we all know that integration hasn't been good to us, right? Being able to eat at the same deli counter and get the same, chicken salad?
Right.
Or do you really want to go in there to make a change, which is to have equality and put them out of business, period? Not shop with these people, right? Go build your own. It's time for us to do that instead of what we have been doing, right?
Yeah.
Right? Trust black women, right? We ain't never led y'all wrong yet in any capacity.
Yeah.
Wherever we are led in, We don't just succeed. We create the rules that need to be followed. Because most of the people that you hear talked about, even when you go back to people freeing themselves, it's going to be people like Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth, and even people just getting the story out there like Ida B. Wells. Right?
Yeah.
Because
come
if it
to
wasn't
the
that,
book club meeting.
Yeah.
September 13th. That's a Sunday.
That's a Sunday.
Sunday,
yes.
1 p.m. Eastern time. So, we're gonna have a link to the free PDF and a link to sign up to get access to the video meeting.
Right.
So those are coming soon. It's gonna be in the link tree.
Yeah.
In the bio on our Instagram and Twitter too. So we're gonna put that out there.
Yeah, and I know you wanted to change the topic, but I'm just gonna put this out there. Kamala and the vote for 2020. And if you start reading Black Skin, White Mask, how do they exactly fit into the picture when it comes to that sort of trend?
Yeah. So yeah, I guess another thing that we had on, the topics for today was talking about Kamala Harris. When we was driving around in the car, it's so funny because I always talk about like black radio, and like anytime you listen to black radio, especially during an election season, they're like, yo, we gonna rock the vote. I know y'all remember that. If you're like a millennial, whatever,
Diddy.
You remember, Diddy and all the rappers and stuff talking about we gonna rock the vote.
Change some stuff.
Right. You remember Obama anyway.
Yeah.
So, as we driving around, we listening to this radio station, and they have people calling in talking about like, Kamala, this is what, like, maybe the day after, 2 days after she was announced as Joe Biden's vice president, right? So, they're like, yo, black people, what's up? Dial in, what's up? How you feeling about it? And people are like all over the place. You got half of these people talking about, well, I know she was a prosecutor, but if you can't do the time, then you shouldn't do the crime. And you have other people talking about, this is what we need. She gonna lead this country in the right direction. Like, she making history. We gotta get out and vote because the white man, they gonna vote. And I just can't take it, man. I'm gonna just say I just can't take it.
And they don't do that on the other radio stations.
Yeah, right. Do you ever like tune into Top 40? The Ryan Seacrest radio, and they talking about rocking the vote. No. Every 4 years, right?
They talk about the stock market. They talk about where to invest, where not to send your children, where not to buy from.
They talk about everything else.
They talk about relevant stuff that people need to hear, not just about voting as if that's the end all to your existence when you vote. And it's definitely not, as we see.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was telling Takiyah a joke the other day. I'm like, well, when is the new concentration camp? Because that's what they're planning, right?
For real.
Because, so you have to just stay reading up, books like, Guerrilla Warfare, whatever, right? But anyway, there's a whole bunch of books that you can read and studying that you can do that needs to be done so that you can not only be aware that it's coming but prepared for it when it actually does come, because the way it seems as is right now is if they know the exact date and time that everybody is suddenly going to be like,
for real.
Right.
As if we gonna see the concentration camps coming, basically.
Yes.
Like
you don't see it right now.
When you look throughout history, it's not like
it's
one
slow.
day the buses just pull out
slow.
and we out to the concentration camp. No, it
slow.
starts with other things. Like, I mean, if you look into like what genocide is, it starts with like things like ritual humiliation, right?
Yes.
So when you think about like a stop and frisk,
girl.
Yeah, exactly. It's everywhere. It's
Girl.
everywhere. Like the lead up to the final solution, right? Which is like a long drawn out solution that's been coming for years and years.
Yes.
Right? You don't just look up and one day you in the concentration camp.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's a slow thing. Like, okay, so you accepted that children can be in cages, right?
Right.
Because you did debate that in Congress, right? You debated whether it was okay to put children in concentration camps. The public went along with that. A few centers were shut down, but there was no mass hysteria, right? Everybody went back to life as normal. And now it's like, well, if these things keep on happening, which have been happening because they've done it every century or every 10 years, there's a new group of people that's going to be isolated from the American dream. I remember the group that was isolated when I was growing up were Haitians, and people from Haiti were not allowed to come into the United States en masse, right? And was denied entry, even though there was like a whole civil war that was sponsored by the United States and created by the United States. But we're not going to talk about that. Or we're not going to talk about what? The AIDS epidemic that suddenly nobody is talking about?
That's a fact.
Where did HIV and AIDS go? Like, did it just disappear?
It's still out here. I mean, and it's like the highest rate of new infections is black women.
No one's talking about this because everybody's worried about coronavirus or
everything else, or everything else that don't affect primarily black women.
Yes.
Nobody talks about HIV no more.
Yes. Nobody's talking about HIV. Nobody's talking about the history behind that and the new agenda of the people who push those changes. Both pro and con. But mainly we get pushed out of all of those agendas when it comes to any type of care, because now there's not going to be any Medicare for all, because people are saying, or any type of care for anyone, right? Because people rather invest in their individual selves and people who look like them rather than know that they spent a penny on the care of someone that doesn't look like them. So it's easy every 10 years, we're going to ban this set of people, ban that set of people, until, you know what, we're just going to lock down every damn body. And y'all ain't coming in and out. And that's where we are basically right now.
That's where we headed.
That's where we are basically right now. And I told y'all, go read about it. Coronavirus. We have that article out there. That stuff is going to change as far as where and how you can move, because the world is getting so smaller and smaller, especially with the internet being so global, and you're able to get the word out like that about what's going on. And these rebellions are taking place, and they're such a united front that right now there's a lot of concessions going on, and people are giving into the simple thing of writing on a street, Black Lives Matter, right? But I'm sure even though it says Black Lives Matter on that street, if someone was to get pulled over on that street, they'd probably die as a black person at the hands of the police in that state where it says Black Lives Matter on the street. Right? We have to demand more than that. And as a matter of fact, stop demanding, right? We have the power to make radical change that is definitely not within a voting ballot, right? Whether you mail it in, whether you go in person, or whatever, it's just not going to be found there.
Yeah.
There's no savior because they're all on the same team.
For real.
And it's whatever corporate America says, that's the line that America draws, right? Because it's all about business.
For real. I mean, I was just like, I'm going to be honest, I ain't even really look at it for real, but Joe Biden, speech or something, some advertising shit came across my Twitter feed, and he up there talking about looting is not protest, burning things down is not protest, he said. And then he's talking about, y'all, because you know Joe Biden been a senator. I mean, the man he's old as fuck. Okay. Anyway, he's like, y'all know me, y'all know my family, right? You know what I stood for over the years. He said, "Do you think I'm okay with looting?"
Oh.
Like, exactly.
You know
like he tells you who he is.
You know the real me.
So I mean, the people.
The segregation is that hard.
The people who are out there talking about go vote because he's the lesser of two evils or whatever, what have you. You know, people love to say, motherfuckers, especially white people, love to say, yo, if you don't vote, like, more marginalized people are gonna die. Like,
we're
dying. Motherfucker. What you mean is
we're gonna continue to.
People who is closer to where you at in terms of marginalization gonna start getting killed. Because motherfucker, we been dying, right? Yeah. We ain't stopped dying yet. So to say that, you know, people don't care about marginalized people if they don't vote, I mean, it's bullshit. And then not only that, like, why are you chastising the motherfucker who wants better for the world anyway? Shouldn't you be chastising motherfuckers that's gonna cast the vote for Trump? And, like, this is just me, like, venting right now because I posted this article. It's like, what was it called? Like, why voting is not
harm reduction.
Why voting is not harm reduction. Anyway, I got a bunch of Beckys in the comments talking about not giving a fuck about marginalized people. Ooh. And, you know, I just feel like that's like the argument that's always regurgitated by white people. And I'm venting here because what I always try to do as a rule and, you know, just generally is not argue with white people. Sometimes I get baited and I might exchange a few words, but I don't have to convince a white person of shit. And that's it. That's just my line, right? Mm-hmm. I'd much rather spend that time, you know, convincing a black person or, you know, trying to wake them up to you know, the situation around us, right? The colonization, whatever. Yeah. So, anyway, I just had to get that off my chest. Fuck voting. Fuck a harm reduction.
That's not harm reduction. Like harm reduction is stop blaming the victim. That's harm reduction, right? And take ownership of, you know, what you're doing. You know, just like when white politicians go out to black churches and they'll go say, hey, you know, I don't like racism.
Go say that at the white church. Go to the white church. Did you
tell your homies before you got here today to stop pulling us over, right? To let us shop in peace, to let us work in peace, you know? Real. Did you tell your people that if they hear Malcolm X that it's okay, right? Deal with that internally and leave us alone.
Period, point blank, that's it.
Yeah. So what I was going to say, there was a speech that I wanted to read. But anyway, did we cover everything? Oh, we didn't talk about Adele. Oh, my goodness. We didn't go there yet.
I'm going to be real. Adele got on my nerves with that shit. Cause
What? You got to explain what happened.
All right, so it was supposed to be the Notting Hill parade, like yesterday, 2 days ago, whatever. And, you know, Adele got on her own Instagram and posted a picture of her in a, you know, Jamaican flag bikini and some leggings and some Bantu knots. And was like, happy would-be carnival, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so as you can imagine, a diaspora war broke out. Twitter, Instagram, everything. Everybody's talking about, is this cultural appropriation or is it cultural appreciation? I'ma just say, this shit's fucked up. Shit's fucked up. It's dead. It's dead wrong. It's dead wrong. Not a Bantu knot in 2020 A Bantu knot.
That's true. Because I had to take a second look. Because I didn't know who it was at first, right? And then somebody did a meme and like a side by side. You have to say what it's. No, maybe not. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. So it was weird looking at it because I'm Jamaican. My background is definitely Jamaican. And I would appreciate that all day long from a Jamaican or someone who at least closely resembled what a Jamaican would look like. And when I say
not
that,
the colonizer.
When I
not
yeah,
the colonizer.
right. When I say that, right, in Jamaica there were people that were similar to the Taino people of Puerto Rico that were inhabitants of Jamaica first, and then different people from around different continents were brought into the Caribbean, and Jamaica was one of the ports that a lot of black people came from. And so I thought it was really disrespectful, especially for the people who were condoning this type of behavior from clearly a colonized mind and a colonized person, because you don't have any ties to Jamaica in your bloodline personally, right? To actually go ahead and wear that garb out in the street and then post it on your own feed.
The funniest part to me, and like the most fucked up part, is that she's British.
Yes. And
she's British.
And
like
supposedly
she's white, of course.
Jamaica's
and like,
independent.
And like being white is just like it's
Jamaica's independent.
It's already too much. You're already doing too motherfucking much.
So there's different levels to and colonization, right?
So I'm like, so I just draw the line. I gotta draw the line. It's like the queen popping out with a Jamaican flag.
Yes, or she wearing a big hat representing Jamaica. You know?
It's not a good look. It's not a good look. And I just, the diaspora war, trying to say that, you know what, I'm not even gonna promote.
The protection of this woman. I'm not even gonna promote,
like, the... Alright, yeah, we just had to plug the phone in. Plug the phone in right there. But no, I'm not even gonna promote the damn talking points of the diaspora war. Adele is dead wrong, alright? I'm gonna just say this. We all liked that album. We was all banging with 21. Two things could be true. We can fuck with the music and know she is dead wrong for them Bantu knots.
Oh.
And that bikini. It's wrong. That's it.
Okay, so if there's nothing else, there's something I've been meaning to read for some time. Let me see if I can find it. Hi, thank you. Okay. Let's see if I can find it here. The proclamation. It's okay. It's called Liberty or Death, right? Proclamation. Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Governor General, to the inhabitants of Haiti. Crimes, the most atrocious, such as were until then unheard of and would cause nature to shudder, have been perpetrated. The measure was overheaped at length. The hour of vengeance has arrived, and the implacable enemies of the rights of man have suffered the punishment due to their crimes. My arm, raised over their heads, has too long delayed to strike. At that signal, which the justice of God has urged, your hands righteously armed have brought the axe upon the ancient tree of slavery and prejudices. In vain had time, and more especially the infernal politics of Europeans, surrounded it with tripe brass. You have stripped it of its armor. You have placed it upon your hearts, that you may become like your natural enemies, cruel and merciless, like an overflowing might torrent that tears down all opposition. Your vengeful fury has carried away everything in its impetuous course. Thus perish all tyrants over innocence, all oppressors of mankind. So I encourage you to go look up this proclamation for liberty. My accent. I heard that myself. You can go look up this liberty or death proclamation, and it was by Jean-Jacques Dessalines when Haitians struck back and took their island back. Well, not even the whole island. I guess half of the island.
Whole island for a time.
Yeah. At one time, Haiti did have what is now the Dominica and the
Dominican
other side.
Republic.
Yeah. So that was split later on. But do some research on that, because the unity of black people that happened in that time, so that, you know, a war could be won, everyone has to be on the same page, or at least close to everyone has to be on the same page, right? I
mean, same book at least.
At least the same,
At least the same book, same chapter.
Yeah, because you can get caught up with people that you think you're on the same page with, and you think, you know, you have the same politics as, and then you come to find out, okay, well, you have Mal books in your house, but you mainly just use those as decoration versus read them and put it into practice when it comes to, you know, the tendencies of Mal, or even the tendencies of Marx, right? So I just wanted to leave that with you so that you can, you know, do your own research as far as what it is you believe in or don't believe in, and lead with that. And come to the book club. When is it again?
September 13th
at
1 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, the links to the reading
should come out this week.
Yeah, it's coming out soon. So.
And if you haven't, check out the website. It's called riotrevolt.org.
Mm-hmm.
You can also purchase these under Riot Gear, of course. I thought that was cute. Okay. Anyway. And yeah, you can get your own Riot Gear delivered to you. Right now, I think they're like $25, but they're definitely worth it because look at this. You know you want one. Or you can,
you know, and the shirts support what we got going on.
Yeah, it supports what we have going on. You know, you can read the latest on the website and support if you can. We are Riot Revolt on Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal.
No underscore. There's a underscore on the social media.
Yeah.
No underscore on the money apps.
Yeah. And if you say you love black women, prove it. You know, here are two black women definitely in the struggle currently. You know, appreciate us while we're here. You know? And we'll continue doing, you know, what we can. Until next time. Stay blessed. How do you end this? Okay.